From a dyslexic kid to a tech titan, Alex Karp built Palantir into a global AI powerhouse. Utilizing proprietary AI mapping known as ontology, they predict battlefield moves in Ukraine, expose financial fraud, and are transforming industries from healthcare to defense. Stick around and see why Karp and Palantir are straight up AI dope.
Without Palantir, Europe would be completely different politically. I mean, that's quite a statement, isn't it?
Wow.
And it comes from Alex Karp,
Wow.
the CEO of Palantir. And honestly, this guy, he is not your average tech CEO.
Yeah.
He's a philosopher, like at his core.
Yeah.
And that really comes through in everything he does, and especially in this conversation we're going to dive into today.
He's a unique figure, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And in this interview with investor Joe Lonsdale, Karp really opens up about his journey, Palantir's impact, and his vision for the future of the West.
Okay.
It's not just about tech. It's about like the philosophical underpinnings of global power, like dynamics.
All right, so let's unpack this. You mentioned his unusual path to becoming, this tech titan.
Right.
Where does that story even begin?
Okay, so imagine this. A kid with dyslexia.
Okay.
Growing up in a family he describes as super erudite and deeply Jewish.
Wow.
He talks about always feeling like an outsider, always kind of on the verge of being like the first or second person on the wall if things went south,
Yeah, intense.
That experience, it really shaped him, made him acutely aware of the fragility of freedom, the need to protect it.
It sounds like a Cold War thriller or something.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That feeling of being an outsider,
Yeah.
of constantly having to prove himself.
Yeah.
It fueled this drive to build something that would make a real difference in the world. That's where Palantir comes in.
So from this childhood, marked by this sense of urgency, he goes on to study law at Stanford. He's Peter Thiel,
Right.
then heads to Germany for PhD.
Yeah.
But he ultimately decides academia isn't for him. Why?
He felt this pull towards action, towards building, create. He wanted to have a tangible impact, not just theorize about things.
Right.
He even talks about a falling out with Jürgen Habermas,
Okay.
a legendary figure in philosophy, right?
Yeah.
Karp felt that many top academics, while brilliant, lacked a builder personality.
So he walks away from this potentially prestigious career in academia
right.
to become a tech entrepreneur. That's a pretty bold move.
Yeah.
What were those early days of Palantir like?
I mean, think scrappy startup
Right.
meets national security. They were trying to secure funding for this radical idea
Yeah.
of using data analysis to help governments and large institutions make better decisions.
Right.
But they were met with so much skepticism,
Yeah.
even ridicule, to be honest.
Really?
Karp tells this story about pitching to a top VC who spent the entire meeting doodling.
Oh my gosh.
They were told their ideas were crazy, that no one would trust them with sensitive data.
Oh man. Can you imagine being in that room?
I know.
Talk about a test of faith in your vision.
Talk about believing in what you're doing.
Yeah.
But they persevered, driven by this unwavering belief that they were onto something huge. They saw the potential of data to solve some of the world's most complex problems, right? From counterterrorism to financial fraud to eventually even pandemic response.
And this is where it gets really interesting. They start working with the US government.
Right.
And get this, they actually sue the government early on.
I know.
What was that all about?
They were demanding better software for the military.
Okay.
They saw firsthand how outdated and inefficient the government systems were.
Right.
And they knew they could build something better. It was audacious.
Yeah.
Some might even say reckless, but it speaks to Karp's commitment to pushing boundaries
Yeah.
and challenging the status quo.
He wasn't afraid to ruffle some feathers, that's for sure.
Not at all. He was and still is driven by this deep conviction that the West needs to leverage its technological advantages to protect its values and interests in an increasingly complex and dangerous world.
Yeah.
And that belief has shaped Palantir's trajectory from the very beginning.
So they're building this cutting-edge software, working with governments, shaking things up in the defense industry. But then the world kind of throws this curveball. The war in Ukraine. How does Palantir factor into that?
Yeah, this is where things get really real.
Okay.
Karp actually traveled to Ukraine, becoming the first Western CEO to meet with Zelensky after the invasion. He saw firsthand the devastation, the human cost of the conflict. But he also saw how Palantir's software was being used to make a difference.
That's incredible. Give me some specifics.
Okay.
How is their software actually being utilized in a war zone?
Okay, so imagine this. You're trying to track enemy movements,
Yeah.
understand their tactics, predict their next move. Palantir's software allows you to do that by analyzing vast amounts of data from various sources.
Okay.
Satellite imagery, intercepted communications, open source intelligence. They're even using AI to identify adversary positions on the battlefield.
So it's like having a real-time strategic map, but powered by AI
Yeah.
and data analysis.
Exactly.
Wow, that's some next-level stuff.
It is. And it's not just about battlefield tactics, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're also using the software to document war crimes, gather evidence, and help build cases for international prosecution.
That's wild.
It's a powerful tool for accountability and justice.
That's truly remarkable. It's like a digital detective, but, on this global scale.
Right.
And this all ties into the bigger picture of AI, which, everyone's talking about these days.
Right.
What's Karp's take on the current AI landscape?
He's got a very strong opinion, as you might expect.
Okay.
He's actually quite critical of those calling for a pause on AI development. He sees it as a fear-based reaction, a way for those who are falling behind to try to slow down progress.
So he's saying, full steam ahead on AI, no reservations.
He believes that AI has the potential to solve some of humanity's greatest challenges.
Okay.
But it needs to be developed responsibly, ethically, and with a focus on human values. That's where he sees Palantir playing a crucial role.
Hey, want our free AI dope top AI tools that we use? Chat below. It's our live Google Sheets packed with over 100 killer tools, video, music, photos, AI voices, productivity, script writing, YouTube hacks, captions, the works, always growing, live Google Sheet, always free, AI, dope top AI tools that we use. Download and chat below. Back to the show.
Okay, let's dive into that a bit. What makes Palantir's approach to AI different? What are they doing that others aren't?
They're focusing on what they call safe algorithms, designed specifically for enterprise use. Think of it this way.
Yeah.
Imagine an AI system that can analyze medical records to predict patient outcomes without ever needing to send that sensitive data to a third-party server.
Okay.
That's the kind of security and control Palantir is aiming for.
So they're not just building general-purpose AI, they're
Yeah.
tailoring it for specific applications with a strong emphasis on data security and privacy.
And they're also focusing on processing and rebuilding large language model outputs, right? This means they're taking the raw power of AI and refining it, making it more precise and reliable for real-world applications.
This sounds incredibly promising, especially in areas like healthcare,
Yeah.
where data privacy is so important.
Absolutely. And Karp sees AI's potential extending far beyond healthcare, right?
Okay.
He believes it can revolutionize industries like manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, even government operations. In fact, did you know that Palantir's software is now powering bed allocation in over 13% of U.S. hospitals?
Wow, that's pretty significant impact.
Yeah.
What about his vision for AI's role in bringing manufacturing back to the U.S.?
He believes that AI can level the playing field, enabling American workers to achieve production levels comparable to those in countries like Japan or Taiwan.
Right.
This could be a game changer for American manufacturing, making it more competitive globally.
It sounds like he sees AI as this key to unlocking American productivity and innovation
He does.
across a wide range of sectors. But he also issued a warning, about the West's biggest challenge.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, it wasn't about technology.
Yeah.
What did he say?
He believes our biggest hurdle isn't technological, but organizational. We excel at innovation, right?
Yeah.
But we struggle to implement those innovations effectively within our existing institutions. It's like we're stuck in this bureaucratic rut while our adversaries are racing ahead.
So we have the tools, but we're not using them effectively. That's a sobering thought.
It is. And he connects this to a dangerous naivete he sees in the West.
Okay.
We cling to this idea of disarmament while our adversaries are actively seeking to undermine and exploit our systems.
It sounds like he's urging us to wake up and face reality, to recognize the threats we face and the need to adapt our institutions to this new era of technological warfare.
Exactly. And he doesn't sugarcoat the stakes either. He argues that the future of the West and the values we hold dear hinge on our ability to bridge this organizational gap and leverage our technological advantages effectively.
So if the West wants to, maintain its kind of leadership position,
Right.
how do we overcome this organizational inertia. How do we adapt, our institutions to this world that's changing so rapidly?
Karp believes it requires like a fundamental shift in mindset.
Yeah.
We need to embrace this culture of agility, experimentation, data-driven decision-making.
So it's not just about like throwing money at the problem or developing new technologies. It's about changing the way we think.
Yeah. It's about changing the way we operate.
Yeah.
Precisely. And it's not just the government that needs to adapt. The private sector, especially companies like Palantir,
Yeah.
they have a crucial role to play here. They need to work closely with government agencies, share their expertise, and develop solutions that are tailored to the unique challenges we face.
So it sounds like he's calling for this new era of collaboration.
Yes.
Where the lines between the public and private sectors become kind of more fluid.
Right.
It's a vision of a more interconnected, agile, and data-driven approach to national security.
And he's not just talking about national security either.
Okay.
He sees this as a broader societal challenge.
Yeah.
We need to find ways to harness the power of AI and other emerging technologies to solve problems in healthcare, education, climate change, across all sectors of society, really.
So it's about using technology to create like a better future, not just to win wars or to secure our borders.
And that brings us back to Karp's opening statement.
Okay.
Without Palantir, Europe would be completely different politically. He didn't elaborate on it.
Right.
But it's a tantalizing glimpse into the behind the scenes impact of Palantir's work.
It makes you wonder what other stories are hidden,
I know.
beneath the surface, like what victories have been won.
Right.
What disasters averted, thanks to the power of data and AI.
It's a reminder that we're living in this age where software is not just code. It's a strategic asset. It's a weapon, a shield, a tool for understanding and shaping the world around us.
And the choices we make about how we develop and deploy these technologies will have profound consequences for the future of our societies, our economy,
exactly,
and our planet.
So as you go about your day, as you engage with the world, remember that you're not just a passive observer, you're a participant in this unfolding story.
Right.
And your choices matter.
It really does make you think about, the unseen forces that are at play shaping the world we live in.
Yeah.
It's like we're catching these glimpses of this vast, intricate game
It is.
being played on a global chessboard.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And a Karp is clearly one of the key players in that game, someone who understands the rules and the stakes at a level most of us can only imagine.
And he's urging the West to step up its game, to recognize the threats and opportunities of this new technological landscape.
Absolutely. He believes that the West has the potential to lead in this new era.
Okay.
But we need to shed our complacency, embrace innovation, and adapt our institutions to the realities of the 21st century.
So what does this mean for the average person?
Yeah.
What can we do to contribute to this shift?
It starts with awareness, right?
Okay.
We need to educate ourselves about these issues.
Yeah.
Engage in informed discussions.
Okay.
And hold our leaders accountable.
Yeah.
Support companies and organizations that are pushing the boundaries of innovation and working to make the world a safer, more prosperous place.
It sounds like he's calling for like a more engaged and informed citizenry.
Yeah.
One that understands the complexities of this new world.
Yeah.
And is willing to play an active role in shaping it.
Exactly. And that's where this deep dive comes in. By exploring these ideas, by unpacking Karp's vision.
Right.
We're hoping to spark those conversations, to empower you with the knowledge and insights you need to navigate this complex landscape.
It's about empowering ourselves to be informed citizens, to make conscious choices about the future we want to create.
Precisely. And it's about recognizing that even small actions can have a ripple effect by supporting ethical companies, by advocating for policies that promote innovation and responsibility, by simply engaging in thoughtful discussions with friends and family.
Okay.
We can all contribute to building a better future.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's like the one key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with?
The future is not predetermined. It's being shaped right now by the choices we make, the actions we take, the conversations we have.
Yeah.
And we all have a role to play in shaping that future.
That's a powerful message. And it's a reminder that we're not just like passive consumers of technology.
Right.
We're active participants in its development and its impact on the world.
We are.
So as we go forward, let's do so with awareness, with intention.
Yeah.
And with this commitment to shaping a future that reflects our values and aspirations.
Well said. And remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, right?
Yeah.
Start by asking questions, seeking out information, engaging in meaningful conversations.
Yeah.
Every little bit counts.
And if you want another AI deep dive, check this next video and ask, am I really living in these AI dope times?